need to clear something up about Georges St-Pierre. And the reason I feel we need to clear it up is because he hasn't, right? Getting an audience with George is just one of these hard things. But George said, and this has been going on for a meaningful amount of time. I mean, not a year, but not short of a year, 8 or 9 months. He has said, I will come back to fight Khabib. It's a legacy fight. It's a big fight. It would be a world title fight. He's already the champ, which is a real thing. That's a real phenomenon going around the sport right now. And now he's got a chance to be champ. Great. He gave us that evidence. Not breaking any news here. Here's where I feel inclined to speak for him to you guys. When George said, I will come back to fight Khabib, because that is a mega fight, and that is the mega fight. That is the biggest fight that I could be part of now. Those don't all go hand in hand. He's saying 3 things all at once. He's saying he wants a mega fight, okay? Over here you have Khabib. What I'm here to offer for you, just so we're clear on this, and this is hand in hand with what Coach Firas came out and spoke about a week ago, when he said George will come back. If Colby or Usman fall through, give George a call. He's in shape. He's on weight. Now, that wasn't quite a literal offer, but you do start to see where things all of a sudden have changed. The mega fight that's appealing, that would affect legacy, things that some fighters speak of, and it's nauseating, but a guy like George has earned the right to. That's a very real thing when you've got somebody with his credentials, right? At the time when he was saying it's got to be Khabib and it would only be Khabib in the world title fight at 155 pounds in the third weight, all these different things, that was all to serve one purpose, which was the larger purpose, which is it has to be a huge attraction. Some huge rare opportunity is the only thing that's going to stoke the coals to get me motivated enough to come back. That was the message. All of that at the time that he said it just happened to point at one guy, which was named Khabib Nurmagomedov. What I'm offering for you, just to make sure this is clear, okay? And I haven't even talked to George. Don't think like George told Chael, come give him, but I'm right. So I am going to speak for George, just to clear this up. There's now other mega fights. Okay, when he called that and said Khabib, Conor McGregor wasn't even a licensed fighter. There was rumors and reports that Conor wasn't even going to come back. Or is he going to come back? Or he might come back, but it's for Manny Pacquiao. Do you guys remember when that one was going around? I actually believed that one. Those discussions actually, I thought there was going to be some legs to that. But the point being, how is George going to call out Conor? And by the way, at what weight class? I mean, that just wasn't a thing when George started the dialogue. Should I mention that George Masvidal could never even be mentioned in the same sentence as Georges St-Pierre 8 months ago? 41 days ago, George Masvidal is now the biggest star in the sport. Oh, and by the way, a champion. So many people are quick to forget that. I just had this with Errol Hawani the other day when he brought up George Masvidal. And he was, as it pertained to St-Pierre, and he said, well, you know, George Masvidal's not even a champion. George is going to want a champion. Excuse me? Excuse me? George Masvidal is not a champion? Because the last time I was with him, he had a belt that said champion on it. Yes, George Masvidal is a champion. That is a very legitimate championship. If there is a lineage to that, if that could be passed around and passed on, we're going to see. He's still a champion. Don't get that part of the story wrong. That was a legit win in a sold-out mecca known as Madison Square Garden, held on the worldwide leader of ESPN. I mean, not for... Yes, the president was in attendance. Yes, The Rock was in the ring. That's a champion, period. But all of a sudden, Masvidal, who's looking for something big to do, Georges St-Pierre is now out there. Georges St-Pierre and Nick Diaz have some kind of weird beef that they just never really quite worked out. What if Nick goes and fights Masvidal? And Nick's going to fight Masvidal as a way of making right for little brother. What if little brother Nate wants to go try St-Pierre on for size to make right for big brother? I mean, you see what I'm saying? Things have changed very quickly. in the world of what is huge and what is big and who is a star and who is attractive and who is back and who is available in the world of Georges St-Pierre. And him setting his fangs out for Khabib, yeah, that might still be the leader of the pack. We'd have to talk to George on that one. That may be, hey, George, you get anybody you want? Who do you want? It may still be. But all of a sudden, a George versus Conor sure doesn't sound like a bad idea, does it? George versus Masvidal sure doesn't sound like a bad idea, does it? George versus either Diaz, any way you want to do the Diaz situation, sure doesn't sound like a bad idea. So if you got a guy who is itching for one more and is training and is in shape, and all of a sudden there's some new mega opportunities, he's now confronted with evidence and information that he did not previously have. It does alter the statement. And even though he hasn't come out and he hasn't altered the statement, I do feel through Coach Faraz and that discussion and some private conversations that I'm well within my rights right now to speak for him. So when these guys are looking for something fun to do and they're looking for something big to do, and you're looking to see who's available and who's in the pool, I realize that people don't like to call Georges St-Pierre out. I'm well aware of that. And the only time he ever got called out is when he was the champion and people just couldn't turn down that championship. He does seem like the one guy where everybody's go, okay, dude, give me somebody else. Don't give me George. I do see that. But if somebody is feeling a little froggy and they want to do some big business, there's another guy available. Say his name.